or this motel we're in. But this ain't.
Hey guys, welcome back to Backstage TV. This is your host, Tyler Martinez. Tonight we're in downtown Austin, Texas with local artist Austin Meade, who will be performing at Lambert's Barbecue tonight in just a little while. But for right now, we're going to have a quick beer with Austin and chit-chat with him to figure out who the man is behind the guitar and what he has in store with his fans. Hey Austin, how you doing tonight?
It's been a good day for sure.
Good to hear. Now, you've grown immensely in the past couple of years as an artist. You have your first full-length album out right now, Chief of the Sinners.
Yep.
Can you tell me a little bit about the name behind the album and where you came up with that, and also the mentality you had with writing those songs?
Yeah, Chief of the Sinners came out. It was our first full length that came out at the end of 2014, I think, and we toured off that for a while. And I actually came up with the idea for the record. I grew up in the church. My dad was a Baptist pastor down in South Texas and Central Texas. And I actually went back to the church for the first time in, quite a while, I guess a couple of years or so. And I was sitting there just listening to what was being said. And I felt like I was just being spoken directly to. You know, it's kind of a funny feeling in that situation. And I heard what the lesson was about, and I just actually took an offering envelope out and wrote the title track off of that record, Chief of the Sinners, while we were sitting there. And I think there's 12 songs on that record, and the rest of them were kind of like at the same time in my life. I went to Texas A&M, so that all happened when I was living in College Station, Texas. And the songs off that record were kind of like what I had written, I guess, my sophomore, junior, and some of my senior year, I guess, over there. And it was kind of a snapshot in my life from those 2 years. The whole record's just about how nobody's perfect, and that's all right. It's okay to just be yourself, and everybody's flawed. And then about a year and a half after that, we released Heartbreak Coming, which came out earlier this year in 2016. And that we recorded actually just north of here in Austin. And that was a snapshot at the year of my life after graduation from A&M and all the things that have kind of changed with moving to a new town and growing up and walking into a new chapter. But that's kind of what we're sitting on right now and what we're touring with.
All right. So as an artist, how important is it to you to stay genuine in the life lessons that you've learned? You are a songwriter. You write pretty much all of your songs. So
yeah.
The life lessons that you've learned, how important is that to you to keep that in the forefront of who you are?
I don't really know how to write songs about things that I haven't experienced myself. So I would just say, songwriting to me is a very personal thing. Mm-hmm. And as far as like Texas Americana and I guess you'd call it kind of the country scene, all of my favorite songwriters, they just write about personal experiences and things that are very relatable to the listener. You know, you can turn on a song while you're driving down the highway and you can say, man, I've been there, I've felt that feeling. And I think in order to portray that feeling to listeners that, you know, stick your CD in or turn it on their iPod, you've got to write about things that you've personally gone through or the emotions that you've felt. Not saying that that's going to be the exact same experience for every listener by any means, because it'll be different for everybody that puts in the CD. But whenever you songwrite, you have to be true to yourself, because if you're not, you end up with things that are pretty obviously, I don't know if cheesy is the word, but you know, you don't want to force yourself to write something that you don't believe in. Yeah. You've got to sing some of those songs for the rest of your life, most of them, you know. So the best advice I was given as a songwriter was, you know, everything you write, you have to be prepared to sing that for the rest of your life. So don't write anything that you don't want to sing whenever you're in your 60s. You know? So hopefully I'll be able to stay true to that.
Yeah, and I think that's such a beautiful thing because, you know, coming across your music, I was just in a car with a friend of mine who had your CD in, and it really spoke to me. And so I think that you just being genuine with the things that you've gone through and, you know, you writing that, it speaks to people because they've gone through that as well. So that really is such a beautiful thing as an artist that you're creating.
Thank you.
So now I know back in high school you worked at KTEX 106, which is a radio station out of Brenham, Texas.
Yep.
Can you tell me a little bit about working there and how was it like to be immersed in music? And do you feel that the music that they played there, do you feel that some of those melodies influence the songs that you perform now?
Right on. So I grew up like going to rock concerts with my dad all the time. He's really big into old school rock and roll and stuff. So ever since I was like a really little guy, he was taking me to see AC/DC and Journey, and I mean even the guys like John Mayer and stuff. You know, like a crazy wide span of genres, I guess you'd say. So I was already a huge music fan just from that, and then I was in high school. I decided, hey man, let's go get a job at the radio station. It sounds like a lot of fun. So I worked at KTEX for a couple of years, and I was a board op there. I got to like run all the buttons and do all that whole thing, and I got to go meet artists and, you know, just kind of chit chat with them backstage before stuff, because I'd get to go run out on stage and, you know, throw sign stuff off the stage and just kind of shake hands and everything. And it was a lot of fun for me to meet those guys. I would definitely say that some of those guys shaped or kind of influenced the direction that I took as far as going with the Americana style.
Yeah.
But it is really funny now. I look back, and that was, I guess I was like 16 or 17 then, and I'm 23 now. And now we get to go back and like play with a lot of these guys that I met at Washington County Fair or things like that. So it's a really cool experience to look back and be like, man, a couple years ago I was walking backstage just to get this guy to sign a T-shirt so I could, you know, throw it out off stage for the radio station. And now we get to play with those guys. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and most of them are pretty awesome dudes. They're a lot of fun, and it has been really cool over the last couple of years to see that. And to go back to KTEX, I used to sit in the back room, you know, and like pick music to play, and even during some football games, you know, I'd want to be out there with my friends on the football field and things like that and seeing the games, but I'd be running the board back at KTEX. And doing that and then transitioning to where now I get to go back and like shake the same hands, but like they're playing my music on the station. They're really supportive, which is awesome. I couldn't be, you know, more grateful for good old Brenham, Texas, and their support for sure. But to go back to KTEX and to be able to be like, wow, this station that I used to just press buttons at is now spinning our new singles and stuff. It's pretty awesome, and it's a small step, I think, in the right direction in the big picture of things.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Yeah, and you definitely have a huge support in Brenham. Have you gotten to play there yet?
Yeah, we actually played Brenham Mayfest, which is like kind of a big deal over there. It was really cool. It was a great experience. I got to see all of my friends from high school that I hadn't seen in 4 or 5 years, and it was definitely a fun experience. Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of friends, we actually have one of your friends who sent in a fan message for you.
Nice.
So if you want to just go ahead and shout him out and reply back to his message.
Right on.
Hey Austin, my name's Keith Hirsch. I'm originally from Brenham, Texas, but I think you know that all too well. You've come a long way, man, from doing acoustic covers of Drake and Wiz songs for fun back in the day to having your very own sound now. I love your music. It never gets old, and it speaks to the heart. So my question to you is, how long do you think it's going to take for people to realize how damn good you really are?
I have no idea, but thank you very much, Keith. I love Keith, man. People from Brenham have been so supportive, and people in my family and my friends that have stuck around for a long time. There's been a lot of things I've had to miss out on, just as any artist does and any entrepreneur. When you go and do your own thing, you have to miss out on like family events a lot, and holidays and just weekend trips and stuff like that. And it's really important to have friends and family that realize why you're doing what you're doing and that you feel like you need to do it. And I mean, I have no idea how. I think it's all perspective, really, like on when you make it or when you're finally happy. But I can say, sitting here like today, I would not want to do anything else with my life currently. There's a lot of really fun things that I love to do, and I get to do those, and I get to express my emotions through different avenues all the time. But I'll never stray away from being a musician at heart, for sure. And I don't really care how long it takes, because I don't really know what you consider making it. If I'm able to do what I love to do, which is what I'm doing now, and really enjoy life, which I am, I mean, I'm happy. So.
Yeah. And that's all it's about, you know. It's just being happy and putting things out there for people to appreciate. And I definitely think that you're on the right route with that, seeing as how much
Thanks.
support that you have with your fans and people from back home. So
Well, I'm not the only one. There's a lot of my friends that are doing greater things than I am for sure, and I look up to them all the time. I mean, what you're doing right now with this whole thing, it's really cool.
thank you.
So I would encourage everybody to, you only get one shot at this life. So just do what you got to do, and don't waste your time on the small things. Go for what you got to do, or what you feel like you want to do with the rest of your life.
Very good. Well, thank you, Austin. It's
No
been
problem.
an absolute pleasure. I look forward to your performance tonight.
Thanks.
Was there anything else you'd like to sign off with?
Thanks for the beer, and thank you, Keith, for the shout out.
Right on. All right, everyone. Well, that's another episode of Backstage TV. Thank you again for tuning in. This is your host, Tyler Marie. Thank you, Austin Meade, for joining us. We'll catch you next time.
This ain't the end of my troubles. It ain't the end of my pain. Oh, it's a start